Well, hey, grand opening, grand closing. Welcome back to the Local W. We are the sister site of Nets Republic, in case you're curious. More New York basketball content, specifically Nets, because we don't care about the Knicks around here, but that's not even there. Coverage will continue on Nets Republic as well, but you should stay on the Local W for all your Gotham stuff, for all your other various New York women's sports and stuff like that. Stay tuned right here. You know, you're not going to see me again until next summer, which I'm sure you're happy about, but that's not here nor there. So let's talk about it, okay? Liberty went out there. I jokingly want to say they got smacked around, but I feel like that's false advertisement. They just went out there and lost. And I'm going to be honest, it's a shame. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. It is a shame. There were so many opportunities where I felt like, in all honesty, that we should be going into a game 5. Now, I am more than happy that Vegas was able to pull off the two-peat back-to-back, Jordan 96, 97. There is no team in sports that deserves this dub more than them. But I just have to throw out there that just from a strictly Liberty perspective, this is a crying shame. You are telling me that they were down Gray. You're down Chelsea Gray. Why does it sound so hollow in here? Do y'all hear how like the acoustics are like dead? Like what is going on? Why does it sound like in here is so hollow? I need to do more vocals in here, but that's not here there. You're telling me they don't have Chelsea Gray. They don't have their center whose name I can't remember. You are telling me that they are down all these pieces. You don't have Candace Parker out there. You were out there, and it's no secret that the Aces have like the thinnest bench in the entire league. And that's no shot at Vegas. Shout out to every one of them, 1,000%. But you are telling me you went in that joint fully healthy against a depleted team on their literal last leg, and you could at home, and you couldn't force a game 5. Now, there are multiple reasons why it happened. We've discussed on multiple occasions why there's a large possibility that this is going to happen. In fact, Kelsey Plum lets you know at the end of the game on your own court why does it happen. It's because never in the history of basketball, ever, with the exception of, I'll give you maybe 08 Celtics, never in basketball history can you just acquire a bunch of random big-name talent and it works the first year. Now, New York might come back next year on some, you're not looking for revenge, all summer 16, hey, all summer 16. You know what I mean? It's quite possible that next year they're going to come back with a vengeance, with a couple bags of chips on their shoulder, I'm sure. But it never happens. And that's what made this series so fascinating to me, because if they were able to pull it off, it was going to be like, oh, agaga. Oh, agaga. The greatness is too much. But the fact that it didn't happen like that, again, it just proves the fact that you just can't do it. Kelsey Plum said word for word. You know, there were some times where our super team wasn't so super, but you build it over time. It's the longevity for me. You build it over time, not in 5 months. And again, no shot at the Liberty. You know, we're obviously covering them on this channel, but it's just, that's not how basketball works. It's just not how it works. Chemistry is going to trump talent every single time. Look at any champion you feel me? It's never that. And I'm talking super team, not a duo that you shove together and then there's a bubble. You know, no. I'm talking about a legitimate super team. It does not work like that. That's just not how basketball works. If we're talking a complete full season where there's no stoppage, no breaks or anything like that, it doesn't work like that because you need time and chemistry. That is how that works, especially in a WNBA season when we're talking about all this is happening over the span of 3 to 4 months. That is not enough time. That's just not how basketball works. It looks good on paper. It's fun for posters and banners and memes, but that is not how basketball works. I also just got to take a quick second, and if this gets me like completely knocked off the side, it is what it is, but it needs to be said. The cover of 2K was nowhere to be found. And I sat here and said, when are we going to see the Sabrina Ionescu game? Where was it at? Like, shout out to her. She's incredible. She's amazing. I'm sure the shoes are great. But, dog, you're the cover of 2K, my G. And Sabrina, if you're watching, don't take it as slander. I mean, it's coming from me, so, But in this particular framing, in this particular context of the local W, don't take it out on local W. Take it out on Sever the Bond, please. Because I am simply saying, if you are the cover of 2K, where'd you go? Where are you at? What is happening? And again, you're going against such a depleted roster. Maybe the backcourt is still a little thick, but not really, because you got Clark coming into the starting lineup. You can say 6th Woman of the Year all you want, and if I'm confusing names, I apologize, but it's just like, I just feel like if you have a starting lineup of Sabrina, Sloot, Laney, and the MVP in Stewie, we'll get to that in a second. The MVP in Stewie and Jonquel friggin' Jones. I just do not understand how you lose to a team that is down so many individual people. And a game where the pressure was on, and it's not like they got blown out, I understand. But to end the game, you end on an air ball. That's and I'm not taking shots at Sandy. I think she's doing an amazing job. I think she is an incredible coach. I'm just trying to put the pieces together and understand, if you are the cover of 2K, where are you at? I felt like the trash can you was throwing up in was getting more action than you putting the ball in the court. Listen, I'm just trying to figure out what is going on here with this team. You lost to a team that was more locked in than you? I don't buy it. I don't buy what happened. Tell me what happened. I have nothing negative to say about Jonquel Jones, except for the fact that she's constantly getting away with all offensive fouls, but that's not here there. I have nothing negative to say about her because she stepped up, did her job, played out of her mind. Shout out Jonquel Jones. Now, Brianna Stewart, Miss Stewie, Stu York, the MVP, the MVP. The MVP? That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Terrific performance overall. I mean, obviously, like, the shot chart was despicable, but I mean, like, we can't go off of box scores. That's not fair because that's not including context. That's just numbers and analytics. And for those of us who really care about basketball, like we don't just go off of numbers around here. We do the eye test. Did you watch the game? Incredible moments of defensive greatness. I mean, to even get to the point to where you have that inbound play where you swing the ball over to Courtney Vandersloot and she airballs it. The fact that they even got there came from an incredible defensive play where all parties involved, even Sabrina, had one crazy block on Asia, I believe. So I'm not going to sit here and say she played terrible and disappeared. If you are the MVP of the that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you are the MVP of the league, that's all I'm saying. And I get that basketball is not an individual sport and it's about game plans and matchups and all that, but I cannot hammer home enough how it was a situation of Vegas just outlasted it and escaped with a championship, which is fine, which is cool, but we're having to dip into territories of asking these questions out, and it would have went either way. It would have gone either way if the Liberty won the championship or if these questions were popping up regardless. It just depends on the framing and which side and perspective we're going with. But since the Liberty only got one game, we have to start asking these questions. If Chelsea Gray gets hurt, is this a sweep? Doesn't get hurt, is this a sweep? We have to start asking these questions now because there's no way that the same team in Game 3 is the same team in Game 4. I'm not believing it. when Vegas was literally out there on life support. I am not buying that Vegas just locked in more. I mean, that's what happened. I'm just trying to say, how do you fold this? How do you flop this hard? How do you choke in this type of manner? When it was practically given to you on a silver platter. Like, hey, here's a championship. It's baffling to me. And I don't want to make it any worse for y'all than it already is. Nobody's beating themselves up more than the people that lost. I understand it. I am just so curious as to finding out. You are literally handed a golden opportunity and you don't capitalize on it. Now, you notice how I'm not like putting this all on Courtney for airballing? Not at all. Not when you have 2 MVPs and the cover of 2K out there. I am not going to sit here and place the blame on Sloot or like, oh, I didn't let you get the ball, because there's 2 MVPs and the cover of 2K out there. I'm not putting the blame on Sloot. If it wasn't for her, you get swept in game 3. Let's keep it a bean. So I will not have any slander for Courtney Vandersloot. Absolutely not. Because how y'all wanted it, y'all wanted old girl off the bench, whose name I just never remember. I apologize. But y'all wanted old girl off the bench to come in. On her, J.R. Smith, you know what I mean, has one game where she hits a couple shots with one leg, and y'all just be throwing Courtney to the wayside. Insanity. And you want to talk about opportunities to win a game. Again, I am so bad with players' names for teams I don't watch, and I apologize. And trust me, it's like that in the NBA too. If it's not a team I'm keeping up with, I don't know who you are. That is just me as a stan of the teams I support. You'll have to forgive me. But whoever they had at center for Vegas, I can't remember her name, but whoever they had at center for Vegas, all those clankety clanks she was throwing up. No, Sabrina. See, throwing up, no, Sabrina. That was a bar. Anyway, all those bricks she was throwing up, trying to build a house to protect the 3 little pigs. All them bricks in the first quarter where she's just hoisting threes. I mean, they started going in at some point, but I mean, before that, just hoist. Brick. And you still lose. Is incredible to me. That is incredible to me. Now, there's a lot of nastiness on both sides. I feel like a lot of stuff is getting swept under the rug because Vegas is like the people's champs, and we're just ignoring a lot of really nasty behavior from the organization. And I mean, same thing goes for the Liberty as well. You know, this is definitely like a greater of 2 evils, if you ask me personally. However, what we're here to talk about is what happened on the court. And what happened on the court is, I don't know if dominance is the word, but we are witnessing some type of era here with Vegas. If there's anyone who can dethrone them, I would 100% think it's New York going into next year. It just depends on like player movement and stuff like that. Like if like Skylar like makes the trek over to like Connecticut or something, you know what I mean? Like there are so many major question marks here. There's a lot of teams that are just kind of like one piece away. Like if the dream, God, if we were able to pull off getting BG, listen to me. You know, y'all can have Cheyenne Parker. You know what I mean? You know, there are so many teams that are literally just like a piece away that would definitely make things more interesting. I would even say like Dallas, right? Like they're one competent point guard away from like really, really doing something crazy, you know? Definitely good. I see Sims over there, but that's not here there. Like, there's just a lot of really fascinating stories, right? Like, what happens if Washington is healthy for a whole year, right? You know what I mean? Like so many interesting stories. The combination of Shakira Austin and Della Dawn, and there's so many questions. I don't think it's going to be as top heavy next year as it was this summer. However, another good example. What happens if Boston gets some help on the fever type stuff? Like some real help. Like, no offense to Mitchell, but I mean like some real help. You know what I mean? There's just so many fun, interesting questions going into next year that I truly think there are only two teams that are kind of like guaranteed to be favorites without much change. Like, they don't need additions. They just need to pull it off. We don't count Vegas in that because they're already the champions. And Candace Parker's coming back. Jesus Christ on ice. But that's Connecticut and that's the Liberty. Two teams that are basically already championship caliber that just need to be healthy. You know? I just thought about the Dallas thing. Don't they have, who they got? Diamond something. Shields or something like that? Like, don't they have her just on the bench, like, just waiting to come back from injury or something like that? Like I said, there's just so many interesting things. But there's only two teams where I feel like they just need to run it back and just lock in more. And that's Connecticut and the Liberty. But in terms of who is the best player in the league, it is A'ja Wilson. In terms of who is the best team in the WNBA, it is the Aces. In terms of who the best point guard is, it's Chelsea Gray. Like, who's the best shooting guard? It's Kelsey Plum. Like, I don't really feel like there is any room for any question. Like, who's the face of the league? A'ja Wilson. Like, I don't think we are at a point right now, after what we just saw last night, to where we can possibly argue anything else. How we can possibly have any stances of anything else. And I want to make it clear, I am not a Vegas fan at all. Like, that is not me. That's not my agenda to push. I am a very neutral party in this entire playoff run because I'm a Dream fan. So, like, trust me, neutral party here, believe me. I have documented anger with the Liberty and such, but, like, totally neutral party here. From what I just saw, I don't see how there is any question of what they were able to just do right now against a fully healthy, literal super team to close it out in Brooklyn. I don't think there is a question of, like, who's on top in the league, like who is, you know what I mean? I don't think that's a question anymore. And the fact that you can make the case that, ignoring literal catastrophic injuries, they would have not lost a single game in the playoffs. I think we can confidently say that. Ignoring a devastating injury, Vegas doesn't lose in the playoffs. They lost once. We're not talking about that. They lost once. Shout out to New York. You'll get them next year. Shout out to y'all. But we need to give Vegas their flowers. Again, ignoring some of the nasty stuff from both sides, Vegas deserves their flowers. Shout out Becky Hammond. Like, flowers need to be given from the literal greatness that we are watching. And I think anything other than that is hate, personally. And again, that's coming from me. I think that's just hate. Liberty had one really great season. Shout out to them. I don't understand, why Tina Charles isn't invited to these events after she, carried the franchise for so long. It's like she doesn't exist. If there's some under-the-table shenanigans that I am not aware of as to why she's just not here for a lot of this, somebody let me know. But shout out to the Liberty. Good try. That's all I have to say, really. And it might not seem like it, but believe me when I say this was me being nice. This was me being nice. But shout out to the Liberty. Good try. Make sure you stay subscribed to the Local W for all sorts of New York women's content and such. Just because the WNBA season is done doesn't mean we're done on here. More interviews, more highlights, more all that good stuff. Shout out to Gotham. Shout out the whole squad. Yeah. And if you care about the Nets, I'll be on Nets Republic all winter. See y'all later. Oh, and regardless what team you support, what a great WNBA season. Like, my God, what a great season. Just a true pleasure. A true pleasure. I am, not anyone asked, but I am personally at the point where I like the WNBA more than the NBA. And who would have thought, that's crazy to me. I'm only 3 years into covering the WNBA, and I genuinely like it more than the NBA. And that's on period. But that's not here or there. I will see y'all later. Have fun on the Local W, and I will see y'all next summer. Hey. Atlanta Dream at 5. Hey! I had to get it off.